Alright guys, we're done with the music, the interludes, the battles are raging and fierce. Well, we'll start it up soon. Again guys, we're gonna be here going into it. Winstonofwar, pretty strong player into this one. Possibly gonna be one of the higher favorites, possibly. Gonna go against Chinesespy, strong player himself. Did beat out one of our usual regulars, Kinjello, so I'm not surprised to see that over here. Again, I'm going to be joined here by Blitzbot V2 as we do get some pre-game talk going on. Blitzbot V2, what's going on? How are things? How's life? And what do you think about these two competitors? Although we both really don't know about these two competitors other than the deck choices.
Well,
I'll get to you about the deck choices right now. Got it.
alright, there we go. So Warrior, Warlock, and Druid versus Druid, Warlock, and Hunter. I assume this Warrior is the ever popular Patron Warrior format that has been all the rage ever since Blackrock Mountain has been released. For those of you who don't know, Grim Patron is a 5-mana 3/3 that, whenever it survives damage, it summons another copy of itself. Being the 3/3 Grim Patron. So, in Warrior, you can combine it with cards such as War Song Commander and Commanding Shout for essentially filling up your entire board in one turn. Let's some very mixed feedback from the community. Some people like the whole combo wombo-ness of the card, while others rather dislike the whole uninteractivity of the way that you sort of have to play around not having 3 attack or less than 3 attack minions once turn 8 or so comes along. And Druid's always a solid choice. You know, you have your Innervates and your Wild Growths to put big minions out early. And Warlock, especially with the rise of due to Imp Gang Boss, has been really coming back. And I've seen people trying out Malagos Warlock.
I must protect the one.
As we're about to start up this game, I think we're just having that same spec bug that we had last time. So this might be a little more problem, but I think we're starting up with the Druid versus Druid mirror match. Is that correct?
Yeah. Druid versus Druid. It seems that with the inclusion of the Blood Mage Thanos, I'd like to say that Chinesespy's Druid is more of a sort of a Violet Teacher based sort of Druid, because those are the only types that I've seen Thanos in. But maybe he just likes to include Thanos as another sort of Azure Drake. While we have the Mirror Wild Growth on both sides, we have the turn 3 Ancient of Lore by Winstonofwar, allowing him to set out that big 5/5, which is rather hard for Druids to deal with, and, you know, refill up his hand.
Which is pretty useful. Although, using up 2 in the rates, that's very tough. I do like that little strategy coming out from Winstonofwar. Chinesespy, on the other hand, will be able to coin out a Azure Drake and put some pressure as well, as we do see the Blood Race Boundness and a way to clean out that Ancient of Lore.
I guess that's one reason to incorporate Blood Mage Thanos in your Druid decks.
Very, very big reason right there. Plus he still gets a 2-draw. Technically, if he doesn't silence the Blood Rage Founder. So, really nice by Chinesespy. Now down to 3 cards. We'll see if he can refill his hand in just a few. Comes back into it. Gonna trade out to the Sludge Belcher. Picks up a Ragnarino as well. Which hand?
I don't know if I agree with this. Well, with the pickup of the Ragnaros, I'd have to give Chinesespy the upper hand in this case. But ooh, that's a big pickup with the Emperor Thorson, especially since Winstonofwar has that combo piece in his hand. But I was about to say, I didn't really agree with the trading into the Sludge Belcher with the Azure Drake because it opened him up to a really punishing swipe play, although Winstonofwar didn't draw the swipe.
Nope, but it'll blow something up with the Mad Bomber off of the greatness off of the floor. But can't really do anything else with it. Gonna be able to finish up the trades. Chinesespy is not gonna have board advantage, although with lesser amount of cards. Is this time for Emperor Thorson, or are we going for the HSL?
Well, since the Chinesespy's board doesn't really have that much of a threat, and you're safe from combo, since Chinesespy didn't put down the... That is interesting.
Would you say that? I would have saved it probably.
Yeah, I would have saved it for the cycle later, but I would have probably laid down the Ancient of Lore so that when you do drop down the Emperor, you have more cards in your hand from which Emperor can affect.
Well, that's a big draw. Azure Drake gonna be coming down plus swipe to clear out at least the Keeper of the Grove. Can't trade out all the way though, unless he wants to use a damage to the face. Is there any other way to clear?
What you can't clear as Winstonofwar with the amount of mana and cards you have available right now. But what I would have done was swipe the slime, just kill the Keeper of the Grove, and then drop down the Sylvanas, just in case as a sort of semi-insurance against the Ragnaros. If the Ragnaros does hit the Sylvanas, you get to take the Ragnaros. And since he used one Keeper of the Grove, since Chinesespy used one Keeper of the Grove, you're not really worried about another Keeper of the Grove.
Keep on.
No. From the Ancient of War and the inclusion of the antique heal bots, I'd like to say that Chinesespy's list is more of the old ramp druid style list rather than a combo sort of list. And Winstonofwar is just in a very difficult position right now. He can clear with Roar or with swipe, trade, and hero power, but especially back when Ramp Druid was popular, like in the middle of the GVG, a lot of druids ran the Black Knight in order to counter any sort of Engine of War sort of plays. What that is... I suppose he's Winstonofwar is fearful of a combo coming out from Chinesespy, because even though it may be a sort of taunt druid, a lot of taunt druids do still run the combo. So that's one of the reasons he didn't finish off the Engine of War with his face. And also, yeah, it was probably the best play to trade all three 4/2 treants into the Ancient of War, because there wouldn't really be that many other really favorable trades with his treants or with his added break.
Dr. Baron coming now to answer back all this, I guess, top decked aggression with the war, not 15 health left. Doesn't give any more answers. It draws out double shade of Naxxramas. So, could use a Savage Roar for Winstonofwar to try to clear out the Dr. Boom. Probably going to be happening, but what else would you do? Although
he uses Savage Roar to clear. Although, since you only... I assume this is one of those decks that run 2 copies of both the combo pieces. So I'd like to save the second Savage Roar just for the second combo to finish off. I'd probably use the Keeper of the Grove, the 2 damage, the choose one for 2 damage to the Dr. Boom in order to trade with the 5/5 Ancient of Lore to clear it off. And the Shade of Nextramus will be going down now to let it start growing. Ooh, that is, with both swipes gone, that is an especially, Cenarius is especially good card to draw right now.
Very unlucky to now lucky Chinesespy to get the advantage yet again. But we're at 7 cards left for Winstonofwar. He's drawn out so many more things. If he does have second combo, second Force of Nature, that's going to be very devastating. But right now, his board looks totally big. And we'll see if he wants to use the Shade as a finisher. Probably wants to, just in case he doesn't have the second Savage Roar. Again, we don't have their deck list. We have their classes, that's about it. But yeah, Winstonofwar, he's in a little bit of trouble in the sense that he's running out of time for this. Chinesespy, we'll see what he does. He's gonna go Silence out of the Sylvanas. Top deck for a top wreck. It is Chinesespy getting that advantage again, but can he finish it up? That's the only question. As the past turn play. Is that gonna be enough damage? Or are we still holding off right now? But
well, it's not enough damage to finish off Chinesespy since he's at 26 HP. And Savage Roar would only add 8 damage, and with the hero power that'd be 9 damage. So that would be 13, 22. He's 4 damage off of lethal.
I mean,
which is a really sort of Winstonofwar is still at a sort of in a tough position. He has the 5/8, which is really difficult for druids to deal with, and then he's kind of running out of time, especially if he's fearful of the combo coming out, and as I said before, even ramp druids sometimes just like to run 1 copy of the combo, just to sort of have that burst capability to finish off your opponent. And from Winstonofwar's perspective, Chinesespy never played 1 card from his hand, which now he sees to be a big game hunter. But for all he knew, that was probably a combo piece.
that is true. Savage Roar would probably just clean him out right there, so really smart. Oh, is that gonna be enough though? Don't think it will be, because we saw a lot of trading before. What is Winstonofwar doing for this one? Slash, is there anything else he can really do? He has 5 cards left. There's a lot of pressure on the board. He probably has to use Druidal Claw, Savage Roar. Is he going to do to top that up? There's so many questions on this play. What do you think is going to happen for Winston?
Well, he can trade the 5/3 Shade into the Sludge Belcher to get rid of the first half, and then the Zombie Chow to get rid of the 1/2 Slam that comes out. And the issue was that the 4/6 Druid of the Claw and Taunt form would have traded very favorably versus Chinesespy's board. The 5/4 Cenarius just dies, and it leaves the 4/1 Taunt. But I assume he wants to be sort of proactive about this. But he does leave himself at 9 life after trading with the Big Game Hunter. But he does leave. That is very interesting. That is a very interesting card to see. A Doomsayer in Ramp Druid. I assume it's to offset aggro decks.
Yeah.
Though in this case, it'll probably function as a 2 mana gain 9 HP, or excuse me, 7 HP spell. So kind of like a healing touch, dying in return. Although those shades are becoming very, very problematic for Chinesespy. He might regret dumping that BGH. But at this point, it was too much to handle. Those shades just kind of carry the game for Winston, since Chinesespy did use both of his Keeper of the Groves, so he had no more silences. He used the first Keeper of the Groves. He used one of the Keeper of the Groves on Sylvanas, and I don't remember which card he used the first Keeper of the Grove on. I assume it was on...
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan.
as a 2 damage in order to
Your soul shall suffer.
finish off the Belcher, or some sort. But he just didn't have those Keeper of the Groves to deal with the those shades. It's rather unfortunate.
Also, the shades being played late, Emily, it just led to everyone having top deck battle, and well, Winston just winning out in the end. We're back to Warlock versus Warlock. It looks like it's Demon
I assume
Lock?
it's a Hadlock Mirror.
You think it's
unless-
Handlock Mirror? It does look like it. At least Anti-Keelbot off on the side of Chinesespy. Let me go really quickly because we can't see the other hand. Iron Beak out, Anti-Keelbot, Defender Argus, Dr. Boom right now. I'm pretty sure Dr. Boom's for both players are going to be switched back up. But
Yeah,
the...
It's Dr. Boom, Hellfire, and Acidic Swampoo's in Winstonofwar's hand. Is that what you're seeing?
Oh, Winstonofwar, just Dr. Boom, Acidic Swampoo's, and Hellfire. But yeah, we'll see what'll happen as we do get into this match.
Speaking of Acidic Swampoo's, because it's a rise of Patron Warrior, and the importance of the Despite Death Rattle in that deck, a lot of handlocks have been running Acidic Swampoos in order to sort of deny these Patron Warriors the value off of Despite, or the Death Rattle.
It
Which is
also
then...
Good, sorry, guys.
It's instead of Harrison, because these handlock, you know, its main it draws a lot of cards, so it doesn't need the bonus card advantage from Harrison. Though they do need weapon removal, which is why they've started to stick in oozes. It also sort of helps their matchups versus Paladin, as they can now take out the True Silvers and the Ashbringer from Tyrion if they were unable to silence it.
Also helps in the early aggro matchups a little bit. I mean, it's not a replacement for Dark Bomb, but it helps, you know, get rid of minions if need
Also
be.
versus Hunter too,
Yeah.
with the Eaglehorn Bow, which is also a
Glaives
pain
Echo.
if you're handlock to deal with. Yeah, it's just
Definitely.
having weapon destruction is sort of a good utility to have. I don't know if I really agreed with the in handlock mirror matches. One of the last things you want to do is go face, because that enables Molten Giants for the opposing player. While if you remain at your high health total, you're unable to play your own Molten Giants. And especially Karma, one of the top handlock players in NA, she says that the even if they have untaunted or unactivated Ancient Watchers, you'd rather kill those first before going face, because in a handlock mirror, it's a game of attrition. And having 2 cards in your hand that are dead, for example, in Winstonofwar, he has the Molten Giant in his hand that he won't be able to play for several turns. But in a few turns, Chinesespy can play his own Molten Giants. And it's just this battle of who can use their resources more efficiently than the other player. A sort of battle of wills. Although, getting off... This is really important. I just want to stress out how important it is getting off the Emperor Thaurissan proc with Lord Jaraxxus. Even without the coin, it now allows them to play Jaraxxus and Hero Power on turn 10, which is a huge tempo swing.
Especially by the end, you're trying to just reclaim some cards and advantages. But there's some interesting cards as well coming out for Chinesespy. We could go for Dr. Boom. I think it's probably the better play. You can actually do a Dark Bomb as well. I mean, the value is Twilight Drake, but at this point, you need to just make sure you can stay alive. There is some pressure coming on, so Winstonofwar is going to try to keep going.
Well, also, you never saw any owls from Winstonofwar. So for all intents and purposes, that 410 Drake could turn into a 4-1 Drake at a moment notice. And we see the own Dr. Boom being laid in response, and his own Shadow Flame to for combat the Dr. Boom.
That was a mistake.
Little sequencing order, kind of problematic for Chinesespy. He won't really matter about that, or actually it will, because I don't think we're gonna see an answer from Winstonofwar, at least from this turn.
Yeah, he used the Mortal Coil last turn. As the Ironbeak Owl, I assume, especially since you have two of them, the Ironbeak Owl should definitely go down right now. And you could also possibly tap, and then yeah. Oh wait, excuse me, I miscalculated the amount of mana. But I rather would have played the Owl over the Ancient Watcher, because now what Chinesespy can do is Mortal Coil the Emperor Thaurissan. And he's left with the 4-4-2.
And 8-8, and some other things and goodies around. And Tequila about to save the rescue being that we're in a little bit of trouble. I don't know what else Winstonofwar is going to do. He's definitely going to at least do one anti-Keel buff, and he does have one over there. Is he going to put down a Molten Giant himself? Especially since he used Shadow Flame, which I think Warlock still, or Handlock still run two of. It looks like it's going to be one of from the second if you have two.
Current meta Handlocks, they either run 2 Hellfires, 1 Shadow Flame, or 2 Shadow Flames and 1 Hellfire. However, the slower types do tend to use both Hellfires and both Shadow Flames. But one thing for sure is that Winstonofwar does need to taunt up right now.
This is going to be huge if he can draw out a BGH for Chinesespy. Oh, actually, he's going to taunt up the Ancient Watcher instead. Many more targets for the Owl to pick. Tapping at that end, questionable. But it's also a sequencing order because he could have added one more health to Twilight Drake if he didn't need to.
Oh yeah, this is lethal with the Yep. Oh, since he had the coin, he was able to make the play anyway. But say for example, he used the coin to sort of finish a tap earlier on. But as I said, Emperor Thaurissan is just a huge boon for Handlock. Since on average your hand size will range from around 7 to 10 throughout the entire game. And having that Emperor Thaurissan come down, even for one turn, is the equivalent of adding 6 to 9 coins to your hand, which is absolute insane value. He paid for himself and then some.
On the other hand, Winstonofwar did have the Emperor Thaurissan pretty much in his hand. He never played, or he played it late, I think. No, he never played it. And never had a really big chance to really do anything about it. So it's interesting to see that we're going to go into the third match. We're now 1-up all. It's going to be Warrior versus Druid. Druid starting out with Innervate, Swipe, Ancient of Lore. I'm going to switch those out. and we'll see how.
And it is Patron Warrior.
And it is the one, the only Grim Patron.
Although, in the last match, I'd like to just point out that if Winstonofwar didn't hit face with his Mountain Giant for A to Chinesespy, Chinesespy wouldn't have been able to play the Molten Giant, which was the main reason of the lethal that he had towards Winstonofwar. Essentially, in the Handlock versus Handlock mirror, you just want to build up, you want to bait out Shadow Flames and other AoEs, and then just once you sort of bait out all the removal, then you build up the board into a point where you're guaranteed lethal with a sort of owl or reach via Dark Bomb or Hellfire.
Well, can't really do too much.
I would drop
about
down
that,
the.
We'll see. I would have dropped down. Would you drop down? What you'd say?
I'd have dropped down the Thanos.
Okay.
The end is coming!
Just some dude.
Ooh, a very heads-up play by Chinesespy. He recognizes that Winstonofwar didn't play his coin, so he drops down the Doomsayer as a sort of preemptive anti-Thorson sort of play. Because if Winstonofwar was to coin out the Thorson now, yes, he'd be able to get the proc on quite a bit of cards. But that would really that would lead him for his entire board to sort of disappear, and then for Chinesespy to get the board initiative. I don't really know why he equipped the Fiery War Axe while he had the 3-1 charge.
I guess to get more mana out of the way. I don't know either for Winston. I think he's falling a little bit under the pressure, but we'll see. As Emperor Thorson's probably going to come down. Chinesespy literally just hit word.
He had 10 cards. He had 10 cards last turn, so that's why he equipped the Fiery War Axe, so he wouldn't burn the Girl Mash that he was going to draw, which ended up being a sort of a very good play.
So seeing this Grim Patron deck, we have 2 Inner Rages. There's been some innovation with Inner Rage / some of the Grim Patrons. There's so many synergistic cards with this deck, and what do you think about those 2 Inner Rages?
Well, the lists that I've seen with 2 Inner Rages were the ones that run Blood Mage Thanos in addition to those 2 Inner Rages, because not only do they use Thanos as a sort of cycle with, the Gnomish Inventor and the Loot Hoarders, but if you read Inner Rage, it says deal 1 damage to a minion and give it +2 attack, which benefits off of Blood Mage Thanos spell damage +1. So you could use Inner Rage on an opponent's minion in order to clear it off if it has 2 HP. Something like Whirling Zap-O-Matic, which would be very difficult to deal with if you don't have the Fiery War Axe. You can clear it turn 2 with your own Thanos plus Inner Rage. Although in this matchup, Thanos becomes more of a liability if he had the Grim Patron, because with the Warsong Commander, because that would have led to an extra 3/3 for Winstonofwar.
Well, Winstonofwar is gonna have some trouble trying to get through. Maybe Chinesespy with the Tree of Life draw. He does heal up too, and he's gonna actually attack it for 1 more. Winstonofwar is at quite a bit low health total, but we already saw from this one, Chinesespy is playing a slower, methodical Ramp Druid. And we don't know if he has combo yet. If he does have combo, it hasn't been drawn out yet, obviously.
Well, with the Tree of Life, I assume there is no space for the combo. And I think this is what Blizzard was thinking of when they designed Tree of Life. They thought it would be used in the slower ramp decks in order to heal up your Ancient of Wars and to use it versus aggressive decks that put you down very low. In the early sort of 8 turns, you're down to, say, 10 life. And then use Tree of Life to heal back up to 30. And
By the way, I think
this is gonna be
lethal. I'm pretty sure it's lethal, actually. I
That'll
played
be
Grim
11.
Patron so much, it's totally lethal. Because he's gonna coin out Deathbite as well, get another proc. And it'll work
Oh,
out
I
really
did not see the coin death fight.
Yeah, Winstonofwar, he's played this deck a little bit. He rocked it out really well. And yet again, Grim Patron will not get everybody in here. Well, OTK, one more person down. Chinesespy, get him 2-1. He has one more deck left, and we'll see if the Warlock can come back into this one for Winstonofwar.
One turn kill. Yeah, and the sort of issue when you face against Grim Patron decks is that you can't leave out too many minions on the board in case of Warsong Commander, Frozen Berserker, and Whirlwind effects. And you also can't keep minions that have less than 3 attack on the board because of Warsong Commander and Grim Patron. So it's a really difficult deck to sort of play around, but you can't really play around having both the Frozings with the Warsong Commander with 2 Whirlwind effects. And the 2 Ender Ages. That was just a bit too much to sort of expect and predict from Chinesespy's side. So I don't really fault him for losing that game.
I mean, it's 7-card combo. Like, you can always expect a 7-card combo, right? Plus, on the end, having everything timed down just a little bit because of Ember Thorson. But, you know, c'est la vie. We're about to go in our next game. Handlock versus Hunter. The classic story between control versus aggression. Although this aggression might be a little bit different.
This is the mid-range Hunter. Since I saw the Houndmaster before it was mulliganed away. So I assume this is a slower type of Hunter, which it's still a little favored versus
Put this apple on your head.
Handlock if you run the freezing traps. But otherwise, Handlock has a much easier time versus the mid-range Hunter over the Face Hunter. I think Face Hunter is like one of the classic counters to Handlock. Oh, especially if you run a Hunter's Mark, that'll be really detrimental towards any sort of taunted up giants. Oh, and especially with the addition of Quickshot into the game, there's so much reach that Hunter now has. It's sort of very difficult for Handlock to play around all the sort of lethals that Hunter can bring out with either the Quickshot or kill commands or just the sort of charges with Huffer and Arcane Golems and Leroy. But this is a slower mid-range Hunter, so it should be a lot closer of a match than versus Face Hunter. But Winstonofwar doesn't know whether or not it is a Face Hunter or a mid-range Hunter, as currently all the cards were the same. And it is a freezing trap.
Quite hit the mark.
He doesn't want
freezing
to
trap.
freeze trap the Sunfairy Protector, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in Handlock, or when you go against Handlock and if you run freezing traps, there are 3 cards that you absolutely do not want to see your opponent get freezing trap off on them. The Sunfairy Protector, the Defender of Argus, and Healbots.
And Sunfairy Protector is doing that. I know the Mad Scientist, if he said that didn't quite hit the mark, he was looking for a Closer Trap. Unfortunately, he didn't get that, so it probably is
Or
closer
possibly
to the
also
jab.
Snakes.
Or Snake Trap, yeah. It might be closer to the jab build, where there's 2 freezing, 1 whatever. And we'll see if the Golden one ever can do anything. We do see an interesting trade gonna go out. Is that a Lore Walker Cho? It looks like a Lore Walker Cho.
That is a Lore Walker Cho.
Come back into
That
competitive
is
play.
very interesting.
Unlucky or lucky, if you want to say for Winstonofwar. He can give his opponent a Shadow Flame, which is very helpful, question mark. But it's really coming back to the Winstonofwar's hand. He has so many tools to really run into this game. Emperor Thorson could be a thing, but 6-5 is a dangerous proposition.
I dropped the Emperor as you saw your as Winstonofwar, you saw Chinesespy use a kill command. So you know that's one more kill command that won't be going face.
Winston, though, what about his life total? Plays up the tap and then also the sludge belcher. He could anti-Q about this turn. Would you do that? Probably not.
See, if he had dropped the Emperor last turn, he would have been able to do so many more plays this turn, and he would have been at, I think he was at 21 last turn. 10 damage would have left him at 11. He would have been able to play the Molten Giant for free, and he would have been able to taunt up several things with the Defender of Argus or Sun Fury, along with the Sludge Belcher. And since you already saw the kill command, it would have been sort of very difficult for Chinesespy to come up with the reach to kill you from 11 HP.
11 HP, one kill command down. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty tough. But now the punishment begins. Double Sven high main on board. Probably, yeah, gonna trade out with the Thorson. I think he has lethal next turn, as long as Winstonofwar doesn't taunt up. Of course, he still has the Sun Fairy Protector, which he had before, so he can do that.
He also has the Defender of Argus.
So he's a lot of
He
ways.
could have used to taunt up the Lore Walker Cho. Just saying.
I mean, with a Molten Giant, that's not too bad, right?
Yeah.
Are you worried about Winston, or would you, if you were Winston, use the? I don't think. Yeah, I guess Molten Giant would be the only way to clear, plus Shadow Flame.
Even I'm not really too worried about giving. Not really too worried about giving Hunter Shadow Flame, because in mid-range Hunter there's only around one target, maybe, that they could Shadow Flame, or naturally that would affect your giants, and that would be Rag if they do run it. But otherwise, Houndmaster.
Ooh, Leok. Always Leok.
Oh.
Or Misha.
Misha. Yeah, that
sorry.
was actually. If it was anything else. If it was Leok, that would have been, let's see, 4. 2, 3.
I don't think it would have been enough, but it would have been close enough to that he wouldn't tap. Although he has Jiraxis, so she would have been fine. I think that probably cost him the game right here, as we do see Chinesespy now thinking about how the trades are going to work. This doesn't look like a really juicy Hellfire board. I don't know what is. You can also do Lord Jiraxis. There's so many things Winstonofwar can do. It's looking like he's going to keep it going. Unfortunate RNG per se, but I don't think he... Did he have enough per se for lethal at the end?
I don't think so. Since he had to go through both the Cho and the
So many possibilities.
and the taunted up Twilight Drake, and he did not roll Huffer or Leok, which would have made going through Cho so much easier. They could have just spent 6 attack going through Cho, and then
Hunter's Mark. Oh, Hunter's Mark, one of the things, right?
Yeah, Hunter's Mark and trade the now 2/2. Spider, and that would he could have also Hound Mastered.
Almost out of time.
For 9 damage. It would have been close to lethal, but it wouldn't have been lethal.
So you're saying Winstonofwar probably was doing me okay. I think if he tapped, it would have been definitely lethal. Unfortunately, he still didn't get the card anyway, so it didn't matter. In the end, we're gonna see, Hunter's Mark traded back. We're also gonna see Hellfires traded back. The joy is never gonna stop receiving until now. Ro32 giving out so many cards as presents for everybody. As we do see here, Winstonofwar does have the second Molten Giant. If you wanted to play that, he still has Jiraxis on board as well. Would you tap, play both Giants?
I tap.
Yeah?
I
Yeah.
wonder.
Tapping a lot.
Are you
You also
worried
even
at all?
try to roll Animal Companion,
Shields up.
see what you get.
Winstonofwar a little bit worried about his health total, I guess. He can wait for the second Molten Giant to go down. But that is a Mountain Giant, and that is a Dr. Boom on board. But remember, Ro32, the gift giver that keeps on giving, gave out a Hunter's Mark, plus a Hellfire, plus there's another Hellfire on board. I heard you like your Hellfires upon Hellfires for Winstonofwar. It's almost here. The round of 16 could be a thing for Winstonofwar. On the other hand, can Chinesespy keep it going? That's really question right now. RNG has to be on his side.
Well, with the Hunter's Mark that he took, what Winstonofwar can do is trade the Mountain Giant into the Sludge Belcher, and then Shadow Flame or Hunter's Mark, Dr. Boom, and then Shadow Flame the Sunfury Protector, and that would be a full clear. As it appears that that's what he's going to do.
Wow.
Ooh.
Kind of unlucky, but it's okay. Animal Command comes in. Hey, Misha for Misha. That's a good trade. And as we
Actually, Misha is possibly the best one you could have picked up, as it's a decent sized taunt, and it also prevents any sort of it's just another wall in your great wall of taunts that the hunter has to go through.
Lotheb going to go down, but I don't think it will save him. Actually, well, at least for one turn. But hey, Winstonofwar looks like it's.
I'd
gonna be
attack
good.
phase with Sunfury Protector, see which trap it is. It's explosive, and then now is a perfect time to Jiraxis.
Yep, get the heals. You can't finish the game because Hellfire costs 9 mana. But that is going to be 15 damage on board, correct? Yep, with the Jiraxis.
You can Jiraxis and even create an Inferno.
Talk about level 10 or 10 mana power spikes. Sorry, wrong mobile. Inferno gonna go down. We're gonna see how it can do as we do see such a massive board onto this one. Chinesespy last hope is an Ironbeak Owl. He gets the silence one, and he gets the taunt the other. But the games are over. It looks like
The game is over with both Hellfires. Oh, even Dark Bomb. He has 9 damage of reach.
Huh? You can freeze and trap the Inferno again if you really wanted to. But it looks like it's gonna be
If you want to
Dark Bomb then.
summon an 8 mana 6/6.
Congrats to Winstonofwar winning out round of 32 match for the HSL Spring Playoffs. Want to congratulate both players again for doing an awesome show. Winstonofwar taking that 1-3-1. Amazing stuff coming out from both players. And we'll see Winstonofwar coming again into the round of 16. But final thoughts on that match / this will be the last little thing. So definitely give a shout out as well. But Blitzbot, Winstonofwar, You think he got that win solidly?
Oh yeah, as I said before, mid-range hunter is a lot easier matchup for the handlocks than the base hunter, especially due to the presence of those freezing traps. You can just abuse them to great effect, as we saw. You know, getting that Sun-Free Protector battle cry again is just so much value. And that's one of the main reasons why you don't see mid-range hunter popular in tournaments. Because while it may be a great ladder deck, since your opponent doesn't really know what traps to use or what traps that you're using, in tournament settings, your opponent probably has done research versus you and knows like what kinds of decks that you're apt to bring. And when I say like tournaments, I mean like sort of high-level pro play tournaments, sort of like, you know, the Vi Game Cup and whatnot. And so freezing traps can just be abused really heavily by your opponent. And whether it's for the Sun-Free Protectors or Argus or even heal bots, it's just so difficult for the hunter to just, especially once the handlock has stabilized with their wall of taunts, it's so difficult for the hunter to sort of finish off the game. Since I don't run that sort of burst capacity that base hunters run, like base hunters, they have Leroy, they have those abusive sergeants, they have so much other forms of burst capability, but mid-range hunter really forsakes that for stickier creatures and basically bigger threats over time, like the Savannah High main and whatnot. The biggest saw that turn was by Winston when he didn't play the Emperor, when it was just the Savannah High main and the 2/1/1s on board. Since I would have placed him at 11, but since it was a mid-range hunter and he already used one of his kill commands, he wouldn't have been apt to go base, and the Emperor would have functioned as sort of a taunt. And then next turn, because of the mana reduction that the Emperor gave, you would have been able to pull off so many more plays than you would have normally. Or if Chinesespy went full face, then you'd have been able to, you would have dropped down to 11 HP, which is still a sort of safe HP range to stay at versus Hunter, if you know that they've used one of their kill commands already. And then you would have been able to drop down the Molten Giant, drop down even Belcher, or you would have been able to taunt up both the Lore Walker Cho and the Giant, or even a Drake, and there was just so many more plays that he could have done that the Emperor play enabled.
And I think the Emperor play will be the thing that Winston will have to really look into, especially the one in the second game for him. But we have to close out the show because we do have some more HSL action. I think League of Legends is going to be coming on and following us. So again, just really quick shout out to everybody watching in the chat. Thanks for coming by, saying hello. Again, Bloodspot, where can we find you? Thank you for casting. And again, we'll be here tomorrow, but where can we find you, Bloodspot?
On Twitter, you can find me as at BlitzbotV2. On Twitch, you can find me as at BlitzcrankbotV2. I'm a writer for both HearthKings.net, ESL, and Temple Storm. And you can find my articles on there too.
Amazing articles where you can become legendary, go with the best of them, and I don't know what Hearth Kings is, but hey, you know.
It's a amateur tournament league website.
I meant their slogan.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't think they have a slogan.
But truthfully, it's awesome to have you around. Again, next week we'll actually have Freshka. Unfortunately, Freshka was sick this week, so we'll add Travis Freshka with GGLA Freshka going to be on there. And again, for myself, L30, you can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/L30, and Twitch, twitch.tv/L30. Alright guys, we're gonna have to close it out really fast and quick. Again guys, thank you for watching the HSL Spring Playoffs round of 32 action. We'll be back tomorrow, giving you some more action later. Thanks again guys, and we are out. Peace.